Do you dream of exploring the enchanted land of Morocco? Discover the magic with Destination Morocco, the ultimate travel experience for those seeking luxury and adventure. We specialize in crafting bespoke itineraries tailored to your unique tastes and desires. If you are a discerning traveler who values an immersive, curated adventure, then visit destinationsmorocco.com. That's destinations with an S, morocco.com. And let us bring your dream Moroccan vacation to life. Welcome back to another episode of Destination Morocco podcast. In today's episode, we have Sam with us all the way from Marrakesh, and we're going to do Q&A. And this episode, we're going to talk about everything you need to do before your trip to Morocco. So we're going to be talking about pre-planning your trip to Morocco. We'll cover as much as we can on this episode, and we're going to have probably few other episodes after this one. So we're going to cover everything from pre-planning, transportation, accommodations, things to see and do throughout Morocco, and so forth. So probably we're going to have 3 or 4 episodes that we're going to cover everything. So Sam, welcome back to the show. Very glad to have you here. So what do we have for the guests or for the clients or the listeners in today's episode?
Thank you very much, and welcome back again. I'm very glad to be here again. So we have many things to tell our audience about what to know, what to prepare, what to plan before they go to their trip to Morocco. So there is many useful informations that we'll cover during this episode. So let's start with the first question. Mr. Astin, in your opinion, what is the best time to visit Morocco?
The best time really to visit Morocco, it has changed actually. If you're comparing pre-COVID to post-COVID, now everything is super busy throughout the year, with a little bit of the exception of July and August. Because it's really hard. But even then, sometimes we ourselves find it kind of difficult to find accommodations, even in the summertime. So the best time to go, you have to look at it in terms of weather, because that's what's going to really make a difference. For example, the spring is really good. September is really, really good. October, November, and then, December, obviously. But when you go into December, just make sure you book everything ahead of time, meaning at least 9 months before, because it gets really, really busy, and you're not going to have a lot of options if you wait quite a bit. So until the last minute. So,
do U.S. citizens need a visa or require the visa to visit Morocco? So if so, how they can obtain the visa to travel to Morocco?
That's a really good question. If you live in the US, you don't really need a visa as long as you're staying less than 90 days. But if you're going to stay more than 90 days, then you definitely need to get in touch with the Visa Central office. And the phone number is 1-877-535-0688. Or you can go online at visacentral.com and see where you can find the things that you're going to need. So, really good question.
Thank you very much for all this information. It's very interesting. So my next question is, are there any specific health precautions or vaccinations travelers from US need to know about before they travel to Morocco?
Well, at the moment, there's not. But I just came back, from Morocco to the US, and I see that COVID cases are on the rise again. So Morocco doesn't have any restrictions yet because the cases are very low, maybe around 100 or so. So nothing at the moment, but if anything changes, we'll definitely update the listeners. So that's the latest updates. You don't need any vaccinations to travel to Morocco, but it's up to you. If you want to get some vaccinations to Morocco that you're not really feeling comfortable, you can do that as well. So whether it's hepatitis A, B, or C. So, just to protect yourself. Really good question, Sam.
What is the local currency in Morocco, and how you can obtain Moroccan local currency?
Okay, that's a really good question, Sam. The Moroccan currency in Morocco is the dirham, and you can obtain it in many different ways. For example, you can do it when you get to the airport. That's option number one. But the exchange is not going to be to your favor, so you're going to pay a little bit extra for that. But when you get to your Riyadh or to your hotel, you can also exchange the currency, whether it's US dollar, Canadian dollar, and so forth. Also, there are a couple of places, especially in Marrakesh, where you can get a little bit more for your dollar than anywhere else. I also please, when you're trying to exchange currency, do not do it at the bank, meaning any bank, because in Morocco you have two options when it comes to the bank. If you are a member of that bank, they'll give you a better rate. But if you're not a member of that bank, they are not going to give you a better rate. Stay away from the post office because it's just they're cutting their fees and exchange rates. They're not really good. So the best way to do it is at your Riyadh, your hotel, or ask your driver or local guide. There's some spots outside the Riyadh and outside the hotel, especially in Marrakesh. There are a few spots by the General Square where you can get the exchange a really good rate. Very good question, sir.
Is it safe to drink water in Morocco, or they need to buy like bottled water?
I always stay away from tap water. That's just, I mean, not just in Morocco, but anywhere you travel, but especially in Morocco, the quality has changed. And again, the quality is different from city to city. But
Yeah, absolutely.
even though I still do not recommend tap water. Now, in terms of bottle of water, you have few options. There's really some good brands that you can get, and they sell them, in 3 or 4 different sizes. So there's like a quarter, 250 milliliters, half a liter, 500 milliliters, 1 liter, 1.5 liter, and 2 liters. So it just depends how long you're staying, where you're staying, if you're staying in one spot or if you're traveling, and just make sure you get enough of it. So in terms of the cost, 1 liter will cost you around, 6 dirhams, 7 dirhams, which is the equivalent to 80 cents. So it's not really expensive. And it's better to get it. Just take as much as you can with you just in case. So
Are there any like cultural customs or norms that people they have to know, travelers they have to know, or they should respect when they travel to Morocco?
I mean, of course there are, and even in Morocco, it really varies from city to city, or on the outskirts of the big cities, the villages, and stuff like that. But the majority, I think, just see what the locals do and do the same. Mimic their actions. Sometimes, because sometimes you don't know if you're doing the right thing or saying the right thing, but um, normally this is not really a major issue when it comes to to a lot of tourists or travelers to get themselves comfortable with the local culture. So
Thank you very much for all this information, Mr. Azdin.
sure,
This is
sure.
unbelievable. So again, what is the languages spoken in Morocco? Maybe some people they think like that Morocco like is a French country and something like that. Can you please give us some information about
Oh, definitely.
about this, please?
Absolutely, absolutely. In Morocco is not a French country. We are independent. We have our own languages, by the way. Um, and the main language is Darija, which is a slang. It's a combination of other languages. Then Arabic, then French, because obviously we were a French colony. And now they have changed the school curriculum. So now English is being taught, since first grade. So they're getting rid of the French language. But normally, when you go to Morocco, when you go to Marrakesh, for example, and like the dead center of the country, there's French is very popular. When you go to the north side of Morocco, then Spanish is very popular. Then when you go to the south, Berber is very popular. The Sahara, the desert, but also the local languages that are spoken. If you go to the north side, we're talking about the Rif Mountains and the north region. Then the Rifi, which is a Berber language, a Mazigh language, it's very popular. That's what it's spoken. Then when you go to the Atlas Mountains. There's two more, Berber languages. Then we'll go to the south. So the Berber language is very strong when it comes, throughout Morocco. There's a variety of slangs and variety of
Right.
different Berber languages. So people from the south may communicate with the Atlas, but there's few differences in terms of things that are being said and stuff like that. But overall, uh, they can still communicate. So when it comes to tourists visiting Morocco, Morocco is really diverse, culturally, historically, in so many different ways. So a lot of people, the average Moroccan, they speak three languages. Then when you go to the souks and the markets and people that are involved in the tourism industry,
Yes.
they speak an average of 4 to 6, 7 languages. So in terms of language, whatever language you speak, you'll definitely find somebody in Morocco that will communicate with you really easy. Very good question, Sam. Thank you. What do we
Oh,
have next?
absolutely. So next, we talked before about the Moroccan currency, and you gave us various informations. Now, for example, travelers who travel into Morocco, how they can use their debit or credit card, and if you can please give us some explanations about
Oh, sure,
credit and
sure.
debit card in Morocco and ATM machines and so on, please.
Okay, so before using your debit card or credit card in Morocco, just make sure before you travel, you let your credit card company know, let your bank know that Morocco you're going to be staying for, whether it's 7 days, 10 days, 15 days. And also, you can use them freely in Morocco. There's a lot of, places, a lot more places now are accepting credit card and debit card versus the past. So now the other question that you have, Sam, when it comes to ATM, the best way to use it is in the major cities, obviously. Use it in the morning because sometimes the ATM machine itself runs out of money. And the weekend, make sure you definitely use it um, early, but to even position yourself in better, use it before the weekend. That way you don't have to. You're not really scrambling for cash and stuff like that. But it's always a good idea to have cash with you at hand. And that's we get this question quite a bit from the travelers. The way that I do it is I have some cash with me all the time, and I use the ATM. In case I cannot use the ATM, then I just use the cash that I have with me. It's much easier that way.
So, Morocco is like, when we talk about hospitality, I think
Yes.
Morocco is amazing. The country is just unbelievable. We talk
Yeah.
about the culture of the people and the way they help tourists and travelers.
Yes.
It's not in the tourist big cities like Marrakesh or Fes, or the whole country.
Yeah.
Even the inner areas, it's amazing. So, uh, can you please give us some information about the tipping culture and etiquette in Morocco?
We get this question all the time. Morocco, if we talk in 60s, 70s, it was an insult to tip somebody. It was kind of embarrassing. But now, like you said, Sam, the tourism industry has evolved so much, and now it really, really depends quite a bit on that tipping part of it. That's how the system now is set up. You have a local guide. Yeah, you pay them their fees, but then at the end of the experience, they still expect you to give them a little bit of a tip. So whether it's a local guide, a tour leader, a national guide, a restaurant, a coffee shop, a taxi, even anywhere, it's largely expected nowadays. And the norm for us, we say 10% to 15%, but again, it depends on a case by case. So if you go into Morocco, for example, for like 2 weeks, then really 10% is kind of high. But just a few $100, um, depending on how good the service is. For example, if you're doing just a few days, you can apply the 10%. But for the big ticket items, 10% is still kind of high. But normally, if you're eating at a restaurant, I would say 10-15% is good. At the coffee shop, you have a coffee, maybe a buck or two, just a few coins is good. Maybe 5 dirhams, the equivalent to 50 cents. It's still good. It's still decent. Um, so that's what I would recommend. There's not really a specific rule, but it depends case by case, if that makes sense to you, Sam.
That's absolutely yes, because this is like people that get confused when they go to the country. They don't know about the culture of the country
Yes,
and some stuff.
yes.
So, Mr. Azdin, are there any like specific item advisories like people they need to plan or they need to know, for example, about before they go to the travel to the country? We talk about Morocco always.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're talking about what they should pack going to
Yeah,
Morocco?
that's right. Yes.
Okay. Well, that's a good question. There are a few things. You know, I'm not as young as I used to be, so now I take medication with me. It's definitely a must. For upset stomach,
Yes.
whatever you feel comfortable with. I mean, I get my stuff at Costco. Sam's is good as well. Walmart, you can buy stuff like that. So in my case, because we travel quite a bit, painkillers are good. They don't need to be prescribed by a doctor, but just over the counter for upset stomach as well. Toiletries is a must. Now, when you go to Morocco, when you're using public restrooms, they're much, much better than they used to. But keep in mind, you tip when you go use the restrooms. It's like a dirham, which is the equivalent to 25 cents, 20 cents, for example. So it's not much, but yeah. What else? When it comes to packing, we actually had a whole episode about packing to Morocco. So make sure, whether you have a camera with you, whether you have, cell phone charger,
Adapter.
adapter for sure, yes. But
Yes.
The adapter, I would say the best way to do it is wait until you get to Morocco, because the one that you can get here in a store or at Amazon, sometimes they are not the best fit in Morocco. So, and that issue could be solved just by asking your driver, and they make a stop and take care of it for you. And they don't normally cost, because I know we had the same situation and we stopped.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so I think it cost us $2, but it was really good quality. So yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
So, what kind of budget for like accommodations? Just estimate budget for accommodation, meals, and for example, stuff when you are traveling to Morocco.
For the accommodations, it really depends what you're feeling comfortable with. We are based in Marrakesh, so most of the examples that I'll give you, they're going to be based in Marrakesh. That can be applied to other cities.
That's right.
If you look at the Jamal Fna Square, just in the vicinity of that square, there's about 700 riyals and places that you can stay. And the price really varies, for less than $50 and all the way to $31,000 a night. So it's just up to you, what's your budget and things that you want to, stay
Yeah.
and the money you want to spend. For the Riyadh, it just depends. When you go to two-star Riyadhs, two-star hotels, you're really putting yourself, I wouldn't say at risk, but I would say don't expect much because the service may not be there unless you're lucky. Then when you look at, four-star, I would say the average for us is four-star. And that's what we use. So there's plenty of four-star places that you can find, in all major cities. And when it comes in the budget, those are probably, I would say, still between $75 to $100 a night. It just depends. Again, on the season, it just depends on
That's right.
the property and stuff like that. But also, the five-star hotels and the Riyadhs, there's plenty of them. They're really, really good. But if they're a good fit for you, go for it. If it's not a good fit for you, there's still a lot of choices within your budget. So
Travelers to Morocco, do they need to register on the U.S. embassy before they travel to Morocco?
they actually they don't need to register, but it's a plus if they can register with the embassy or the consulate. The reason is because you never know what's going to happen. I mean, Morocco is a very safe country, but you do this anywhere you travel, go to Morocco or any other destination, just to protect yourself, just to be on the safe side. If something is, were to happen and you need, for example, to be evacuated, so they know how to get in touch with you and inform you. So that's the best way that I would recommend. And also the US, they have a program which is called STEP. And again, we talked about this when we did the packing to Morocco, and you can find more information when you go to www.step.state.gov. /step, and you can find a lot more information there. But it's absolutely recommended. You don't have to, but it's highly recommended. Really, really good question, Sam.
Thank you. So when it comes to eat, Moroccan cuisine is very diverse, and
Yes.
it's yeah, you know about the Moroccan cuisine, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So for travelers, do they have to eat anything, or just to eat specific dishes? For example, like Morocco, because especially if they are first time traveling to Morocco, could you please explain to us about
Okay.
what you can eat and what cannot eat in Morocco?
If you're a solo traveler, if you're traveling by yourself with friends, you always have to do your homework because the food is incredible and it can be very tricky and it will absolutely get you. No matter how careful you are, it will still get you. So, talking from experience, because we just came back and we did 50 days in Morocco and 40 days we were on the road. So we were very, blessed and very lucky. We had some amazing, amazing food throughout the south of Morocco, the north of Morocco. But every now and then, it's going to get you because it's delicious and it looks really good. But sometimes it does not align with your stomach. So the best way to handle it is stay away from meat, especially in the first few days, maybe 2 or 3 days when you go into Morocco, especially when it's fresh. Whether you like lamb, whether you like goat or beef, because it's very different than the US. So just ease yourself to it, little bit by little bit. And even when you eat meat, just make sure you eat just a few ounces at first, and then the next day you eat a little bit more because you want to test your stomach if it's aligning with the food that you're eating. This you have no no allergies, nothing is bothering you, and then after the first week, then you should be good. So, really good question. Yes.
So, as we talked about before, we talked about Moroccan people and hospitality and kindness of the people. Now, could you please, Mr. Asdin, tell us about if like etiquette or protocol, for example, to follow when you, for example, you want to take photos or pictures of the people, for example, during your travels to Morocco?
Okay. Oh, that's a really good question. Now, we're talking about the city, we're talking about the villages, we're talking about the kids. So when you are in Morocco, especially in the markets, it's okay to take pictures from a distance. Nobody's going to say no because it's general picture. No, there's no specific person in that picture. It's just you picturing the scene, the view, that experience. But if you want to take a picture of a local or a store or a clerk or something, then you really have to talk to them if it's okay with them. Or you always want to ask permission, and it's just you gotta pay, and that's what we do. Just say, hey, if it's okay. Some of them they'll say yes, and some of them they expect you to compensate them for that picture. Maybe $2 is good. Some will say $5, the equivalent to 50 dirhams, and just do it. The same thing with children. Do not do not take pictures of them, especially in the villages, whether you're in the desert or the mountains, or because the Amazigh culture, it's very different. The culture in the mountains it's very different than the city. But you always want to be very respectful to the kids, to the parents, to the culture. And a lot of people, they would not mind when you ask. So if you have to pay, just a few dollars will do the trick. That's a really, really good question. Always ask. Always. Yeah. Please.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
Very useful information. So, related to photography again, can people bring the drone to Morocco when they travel? Because this is like an issue. Could you please explain to us
sure.
if it's possible or not?
Okay. You can bring it, but they may take it away from you. This is what I would recommend. The drone laws in Morocco are very complicated. So I don't want to sound, too dramatic, but if you have a drone, just do not really bring it to Morocco, because if they find it on you when you come into the customs, they will confiscate it. They will keep it. They'll tell you come back when you're going back to the US, for example. You can have it back. So it's really pointless to take it with you. They keep it. They may not give it back to you. That's a chance that definitely would not want to take. Now, if you take it with you and you got away with it, you use it in the city, they will come, they will take it away from you. In between cities, villages, where it's kind of far, you can use it. You can take pictures and stuff like that, but you definitely must have a license for it. Um, Especially with the drone. The drone is very sensitive subject because there's airports in the areas, there's military bases in the area, so and they will shoot it down. Yeah. So
Oh,
yeah. Just it's. I did not know this until our last trip because we ran into these issues ourselves, and they don't budge. And it doesn't matter who you are or who you know, you're gonna be in trouble. So, and it's gonna really affect your experience in Morocco because they treat the drone very seriously. So that's a really, really good question, Sam. So,
thank you very much. This is
oh,
very
excellent.
interesting. Yeah. So, Mr. Esdin, many travelers, they get confused about, do they need to have travel insurance when they travel to Morocco or not? And if so, how they can get their insurance from where, for example? Could you please
Okay,
explain to us about this
of course,
subject, please?
definitely. We call it insurance, but it's a protection for your investment. Um, including myself, when we were kids, I mean, not really kids, but 20s and 30s, you don't think of that insurance much because you're healthy, you're good. Um, but nowadays, I highly recommend insurance. Why? Because again, it's not an insurance, it's a protection for your investment. You're paying 10,000, 20,000, 50,000 for your trip. And you go, something happens, all that investment is gone. All your money is gone. So it's really, I would not say is a must, but I would say it's a highly recommended. Now, I have a lot of people that say, well, I have I have Chase, I have American Express, I have a Visa, I have my credit card, and it's included. Yeah, it is included, but it's extremely limited. So that fine print, it's very limited. So you really have to look at a professional travel insurance company, and there's so many of them. You know, I'm not an expert. Please don't take my word on it because for legalities, I don't want to be held responsible. But there's many companies you can search, um, and they have good rates. And the few things that you need to look into is cancel for any reason. Some companies they really cancel for any reason. Some they have restrictions as well. And when you do your homework when it comes to travel insurance, you want to make sure that COVID is included. When it comes, for example, to tests, when it comes, for example, let's say you go to Morocco and you test positive. Some insurance, you have to pay from your own pocket for your hospital, for your medication, for all your stuff. And then when you come back to the US, you send the claim, then they refund you. But there's others, when you go to the hospital, for example, they take care of the billing. They take care of everything. And they have offices globally. So that there's Chubb, CHUBV, there's Alliance, there's many other insurance companies. Just do your homework, and I cannot recommend one versus the other, but I do have a personal favorite. But and also look at whatever they cover when it comes to evacuation. Let's say something happens, the country, like what happened, during COVID, Morocco closed. So, and you need to leave the country. Does your insurance cover that? Evacuation. Some do, some don't. So, but if when it comes to it, somebody wants to call or reach out, we can talk a little bit more detail because travel insurance is, in my opinion, is really a must. So, really good question, Sam. Thank you for that.
Travelers, they traveling along to Morocco, especially I know that most of US travelers to Morocco, they spend more, for example, more than a week.
Yes.
For example, they travel to Morocco between a week to weeks, depends.
Yeah.
So when it comes to laundry, how they can do that? Is there like riads or hotels or like the place where they can stay?
Okay.
Can you please give us some information about this?
Oh, sure. When it comes to laundry, It really depends. Let's say if you're staying for 1 week, if you're staying in one place, you can do it. If you're staying at a other hotel, they have those services. You'll take, you drop it in the morning. Later that day, you'll have it. But also in each neighborhood, there's a place where there's a laundromat where you can do that as well. It's a little bit cheaper. The same thing, you drop it in the morning, you pick it up in the afternoon. Now, if you're traveling toward the cities, go from city to city to city, now it becomes kind of tricky. So, but just make sure, keep in mind that the laundry service takes a whole day, because it's just not you, but there's a lot of people they're going to be doing. So, if you get, for example, to Marrakesh or to Fas in the morning and you have a lot of laundry, do it in the morning, go do whatever you need to do, sightseeing, and when you come back, just pick it up afterwards. It's the same thing if you're going with a group or traveling with your friends or family. Make sure you do it at your Riyadh hotel, because nowadays that service is very, very accessible to a lot of people.
By the way, this laundry place, its names you might find it somewhere in Morocco, in the city. It's called Pressing. Pressing.
Yes.
Yeah,
Pressing,
Pressing. It's
yeah.
a French name, means laundry and some stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so basically, I think I have one more. I want to talk about, passports. It's been an issue, especially for people that are going to renew their passports in the US. With COVID, sometimes because of the offices, they're closed, so no one had that service available. So everybody had to wait until everybody went back to the office. Now, keep in mind, if you're traveling to Morocco or anywhere, that your passport really needs to have a 9 months validity to it. So it should be valid for 9 months. And this, after you're supposed to be coming back from your trip to the US, for example. So, and also make sure that you have at least one blank page where they can stamp for visa or, airports when you go through the airports. And again, for this episode, we're trying to talk about pre-planning for your trip to Morocco, things to do and stuff like that. There are going to be more episodes in the same subject, basically, where we can cover other topics, but they are still within traveling to Morocco and things that you need to be aware of, and so forth. So I really, really appreciate you being here, Sam. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
And see you next time. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
You have traveled the world, but Morocco's allure beckons you. Destination Morocco is here to create the perfect once-in-a-lifetime Moroccan journey, tailored exclusively to your desires. Let us craft an itinerary that unlocks the secrets of this mesmerizing land just for you. For a luxurious, bespoke Moroccan adventure of a lifetime, visit destinationsmorocco.com. That's destinations with an S, Morocco.com. And let us turn your dreams into reality. Your amazing Moroccan experience awaits.